What is up, gamers? This is a Halo Flashpoint battle report. I thought I would try something from the new Wargames expansion. So we are going to be trying Total Control with the points-based team building system. Let's just take a look at the map around here, give a little spinny-roo. As you can see, it's very built up in the center. We got one giant base on one side, one kind of tall, slender bit on the other. And on both ends of the map, we have some much smaller ruined cover over here, and then we got one platform over here. I've got the items and the crates set up as the Total Control spawn locations on both sides of the map, and the weapon spawns placed mostly on top of each cube, except for this one, which just seems a little bit too small and inaccessible to actually be suitable as a weapon spawn location, so it's on the center one. Then as for teams, we have Master Chief with 2 Spartan MK7s holding assault rifles. Given we are using the points-based team building options, we have allowed Master Chief to come with a grapple shot and a hard light shield, which will bring his armor up to 3 until he loses it, and 1 grenade each for each one of these Spartan 7s, as well as taking the extra command die every round for 10 points. So that should add up to 200, making Master Chief a complete dominating force here. And on the other side, we have the new fire team, and we have Spartan Gungnir up there, starting with the 16-point Spartan laser, as well as a threat sensor, which should allow him to see anyone from almost anywhere on the map and shoot them after a short movement action, still being able to use the Spartan laser because of the stable keyword that he has. So the theory is that he should be able to take out Master Chief fairly reliably with the AP4 and the lethal optics and weight of fire on the Spartan laser. So hopefully he functions as a very nice anti-chief unit, while the rest of this squad, including the Spartan CQB with the thruster, is able to run around and grab points by outnumbering the 2 Spartan 7s on the other side. Now they've also taken Snapshot to hopefully wear down Chief as he runs around lunging into people, or even better, if the Spartan Gungnir is able to snapshot with the laser right into his face. Now they do have 4 command die, given that they have 2 Tacticians in Gungnir and the Spartan JFO. So they're looking okay, but that is in stark contrast to the monstrous 8 command die that the Master Chief team has, with the 3 Tactician from himself, 1 more from each Spartan MK7, and then 1 more from the 10-point new command die every round option. Now on to the Total Control scenario rules. At the start of round 1, you will roll a single D8, which will determine which position of A, B, and C are spawning. For example, on a 1 roll, 1 zone would spawn up here in this cube, and then another one would spawn on the crate here, and then the last control point would spawn on the top tower on the opposite end of the field. Each one gets marked with a gray zone control token until they are controlled by one or the other team, and then it is changed with this either blue or flip it over and it becomes a red token. So you capture a neutral control zone for your team, or return an enemy held zone to neutral by having a friendly model and no enemy models in that cube at the end of an enemy activation. Captured control zones are marked blah 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 with the zone marker. And then you remove the color marker if it's returned to neutral, which will occur if the enemy is in your control zone for your activation. And then you gain 1 point if you control all 3 zones at once. And then you roll a d8 to determine the new positions for all zones and reset those to neutral. And you re-roll that if they just roll to the same one. The game ends immediately when one player has scored 3 points. If neither player has scored 3 points at the end of round 8, the player with the most points at the time wins, or at equal points, it is a tied game unless both players agree to keep going until one has scored 3 points. And spawns are at the two corners, here and here, with red team respawns being at the very center, and then slightly on the opposite side of the map in the middle, and blue T spawns being here and here, with their respawns being mirrored. And here's the weapon draw for this round, mostly using new weapons and notably no explosives, so knocking people off of objectives is going to be a little difficult. And here's a look at the item and weapon drop, relatively low power. Items mostly concentrated on each corner of the map, but both teams have pretty equal access to them. I am using the advanced setup rules, and Fire Team Wargames has won the recon roll by 1, so they get to move 2 models up by 1 cube. And on the loser side, Team Master Chief has gotten 1 free crouch, which will most likely not be useful, but this guy is crouching so that he doesn't take full effect of any fire directed his way. And round 1 begins with a roll of 5, determining the neutral objective zones on A, B, and C. And after a roll and a reroll, we have the command dice for Team Master Chief and the command dice for Team Wargames. First activation of the game is going to the Spartan Habsop, who's going to jump over here, 1, 2, and then clamber up and get right on top there and pick up 2 items. One of those items picked up was an overshield, which he's going to use immediately as a free action. Team Chief is going to take this guy, move him 1, clamber up the side of there, get on top of here, and that breaks crouch, but he's going to crouch again, so we'll keep the token and pick up a threat sensor. This also turns control of this point over to Team Wargames. Now with the range 5 on the concussion rifle, the JFO is going to go 1, 2, and use that grenade to try and blast the MK7 off of his perch over there. Some extremely poor rolling means that the MK7 does survive, but blast means that he will lose 1 energy shield, but this will go over to Team Chief. And to keep that momentum going, Team Chief is going to spend a movement die to move the MK7 forward 1, and then sprint 1, 2, 3 up onto this point, which also grabs this item for the other Spartan MK7, which is a grapple shot. Now, given the huge gap in the floor there, the CQB Spartan will have to spend these thrusters in order to sprint 1, 2, 3, 4, and launch an attack to contest this point from the MK7. The imposing CQB hitting 5 hits to just 1 on the Spartan MK7, immediately killing this guy. Taking their grapple shot and holding control of that objective. Now it is the Chief's turn. He's going to use his grapple shot, make 1 move here, and then use one-man army and get free use of any amount of command and shoot die that he wants. And he's going to sprint 1 up 2 for a total of 3 onto this point and cause a fight here. Chief's incredible fight stat comes out clutch against the CQB, whose horrible survive stat has betrayed him despite granting him 1 extra dice for another 1-hit kill from an energy sword. And with that, he takes the grapple shot and uses it immediately to make another 1 space move, coming over here and causing another fight. With 5 hits to none, despite the overshield, this is another 1-shot kill, taking the Hezop off the board and giving Chief his Shroud screen, but he's not done there. He's also going to use 2 of these movement die to take 1, jump down over here, and get a nice clear shot using this shoot die to attack the JFO. After finally getting a decent survive roll, that is 5 hits to 3, meaning 2 left over. With the lunge, means only 1 ESD, 1 more hit to shields, and despite the extra armor, the AP shield on energy sword means that this JFO is still going to take 1 wound. And that is it for the Chief. Double kill and another one that could have been a triple. Now, unfortunately for Chief, Gungnir is going to come over here with 1, then use that to step up here for 2, and take a nice clear shot with a Spartan laser. Due to the stable keyword on the Gungnir, allows him to use a long weapon as a short action after an advance. Now, despite everything, optics, weight of fire 2, high ground, clear shot, Gungnir still only landed 5 hits to Chief's 3, resulting in 2 energy shields being taken and nothing else. So, he's going to use a shoot die and try again. And that's what a dice roll with a high ground clear shot Spartan laser should look like. With 8 hits to 4, that just kills Master Chief. 1 going to his shield, and even with the hard light armor, the Spartan laser has armor piercing 4, so that does nothing for him. And the remaining 3 hits going straight to his health, and with a lethal 2, that does just enough to remove Chief from the board and drop his shroud right where he is. An extremely bloody round with theory put into practice on both sides, Master Chief being very effective with all those movement and shoot die, and the Gungnir coming in clutch with the Chief killing setup that he has there. We do have some wasted command die, but not entirely wasted. With only 3 models, Team Chief does finish first, so they would take the round order, but Team Wargames would try to use will use one model activation to steal back the turn order, except Team Chief uses their own to retain it, removing that from both teams for the next round, and they will have to re-roll that. Now, 1 control point on each side has been taken, with 1 remaining neutral, with these scuffles and movement going on over this middle base. 1 new item's dropped down on this queue over here, and no weapons were taken this round, so there will be no weapon replenishment. After the roll and re-roll, these are the command dice for Team Chief and Team Wargames. And with the first activation of round 2, Team Chief is going to spawn Chief on the second cube of this stack and use 1-man army to enable free use of all those movement die, and use the second advance movement to advance up here into the top. However, over on Team Wargames, going to spend the snapshot die to use the Spartan laser against the incoming Chief. Now, a bit of a mistake. Snapshot only works with a short action shot, which stable only works if you take an advance before shooting, so cannot take snapshot with the Spartan laser. However, with the plasma launcher, 3 hits against that means that all of Master Chief's shields will be taken out. Now, with 3 hits to 2 on Master Chief, that means that there is no remaining damage hitting through Master Chief's 3 armor thanks to the hard light shield. So he will take no damage, but will be thrown, but not pinned, thanks to Stoic, but we'll see what Gungnir can do about that. Gungnir gets 2 survival hits, so will take no damage itself, but will still be flung. And the flinging direction, 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, 8. 1 is on Gungnir, and Chief is on 4, making for an interesting result. Gungnir is going to fall 2 stories, will have to make some kind of fall test, is pinned as well, and Chief goes 4, which falls right into here, causing another fight, but we're going to resolve the fall first. And with 2 hits for gravities and 2 hits for success, that results in no damage whatsoever to Gungnir. However, let's resolve that new fight. Rolling 6 die thanks to the JFO's wound, Master Chief will take him out in 1 fell swoop. Chief is going to use 1 movement die to move diagonally, or not diagonally, sideways into this cube as far as possible while still being within it in order to get full view of the downed Gungnir. And then I do not believe cannot change the grapple shot onto the dice movement, but will use it to pick up the battle rifle. And will now use that battle rifle to shoot at the fallen Gungnir. Now using the shoot die and 2 more dice to ensure this Gungnir is in fact dead. Gungnir hits no survive hits, and Master Chief wastes not a single shot, with the optics ensuring another shot goes through. Now then, starting with every Spartan off the board, Team Wargames is going to have the Gungnir respawn, taking the first advance action here, and their second one right here, picking up this item. Hard light shield, pretty good. Using the threat sensor right away in order to be able to draw a line of sight to any model, no matter if they are obscured by anything. And with that, they are going to fire the Spartan laser at Mr. Chief. With 4 hits to 2, that will do 4 damage to Master Chief, ripping through his hard light shield as well, which will drop his armor back down to his base 2. However, with his superior 5 health, the Chief stands proud and survives the shot. But that's not enough. You're going to use a shoot die and fire again, this time at the standing Spartan MK7 on the control point. We have 5 to 3, that will do nothing but deplete the energy shields on the MK7 standing on the control point. Now, given that Team Wargames still has more unactivated models than Team Chief is going to pass to Team Wargame. And Wargame is going to do... Team Wargames is going to spawn the Spartan Hazop, advance 1, climb diagonally, advance 2, up here, taking the plasma repeater, and whatever this weapon is. Oh, interesting. All right, let's put this terrain back, and then put him right there, behind a little bit of cover. Now, Team Chief is going to spawn this MK7 here on this cube, advance forward a second time, and then 1, 2, 3, throw that grenade that he spawned with. And that is 2-2. He does land in the correct cube, so he will lose both his energy shields and then be thrown somewhere else. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, blah, blah. And with a 7 as our result, Hazop is going to drop into this cube, lose crouch status, and instead be pinned. And that is the end of this MK7. Now the CQB is going to spawn, and with only 1 speed, and without using the thrusters, can only spawn directly in that cube, and therefore is going to use the thrust lunge of the energy sword and try and finish off the Chief. Now, as a shoot action, imposing does not come into play, which turns out pretty unlucky as he has 3 to Chief's 4 hits, so Chief lives. Now, the final action here is for this MK7 to take a nice clear shot from high ground at the Spartan CQB. And with 6 hits to 2, that's going to take out these shields. And the armor will take care of the rest. Oh, wrong one. These shields, and the armor will still take care of the rest for the CQB. And now this MK7 is going to move 1, 2, tucked up in there, and lose the crouching status. Now, the final move of the game, the JFO, is also going to spawn here. Does have 2 movements, going to move right next, and then spend 1 movement die, pop himself right on top here, and then take the final shot of this round, trying to finish off the Chief once again. Now, the blast effect of the concussion rifle does cause the Gungnir, nope, not the Gungnir, oh, never mind, he's already got no energy shields. It would cause one of those to deplete, but he's already got nothing. Also would cause one of these to deplete, but he's already got nothing. And Chief Luck holds out once again with 3 to 4, so he will take no damage from that, but he will be thrown. And with a 1 as our result, the Chief is thrown down here, will not be pinned as a result of Stoic, does not have to make any kind of survive test as it's only 1 cube, and starts a fight with the poor CQB. And we will see who is the superior swordsman. Now with a wounded Chief and imposing on the CQB, does not matter. Of course it's Master Chief. He has got 6 hits to the CQB's 2. And that is the end of round 2. There's only 1 off the board right now that happened at the last moment, but Team Wargames is still spawning all over the place. They do have a body on this control point, but it will not return to neutral until one of Team Chief's models concludes their activation. So for now, Team Chief still holds that point. End of round 2, another item has spawned, again up in this corner near red team, and the sniper rifle has spawned at the lower spot in the base. Now the new command dice for this round, after rerolling everything twice, gives Team Chief a pretty bad setup for one-man army, but gives Team Wargames a pretty nice mix. Well, Team Chief is going to spend one-man army, as pathetic as it might be, and Chief himself is going to go diagonally using that wall up here, another one up here, use the advanced die to go all the way up here for 3 moves in 1 advance in order to shoot with 2 lines of height and a clear shot against the JFO to try and take him out before the control point returns to neutral. Alright, got a little too cocky. Decided not to use one-man army because there's actually no need to if I'm only using the 1 die and nothing else is available. But both roll extremely well, and the JFO rolls well enough for only shields to be depleted, and despite the armor-piercing 1 on the battle rifle, the JFO has 3 armor, so these other 2 hits are going to land against armor. With the Hazop pinned, Team Wargames is going to use the thruster on this CQB as they advance into this cube in order to get up here, pick up the sniper rifle, and then shoot it without the scope, unfortunately, right down at the MK7 over there. And it makes sense, but the CQB is not excellent at no-scoping with a sniper rifle, so that is going to be 0 to 0, resulting in no damage to this MK7. Alright, well, Team Chief needs to get this guy off of that point, so going to activate the MK7 standing right up here, and he's going to throw this grenade and launch him off of the point. With 3 to 2 and the 3 armor on the JFO, he will not take any damage, but he will be knocked somewhere. With that 7 on the roll, he'll be knocked down here and pinned, and this MK7 is going to make that 1-2 movement back to control this point. And they're going to spend the extra model activation for him and have him sprint 1, 2, 3 up onto the top there in order to control that point. Now it's time for some big boy turns. Gunir is going to activate here and make 2 advance up this wall, 1 up that wall, 2 position himself for a nice clear shot against that MK7 and get the edge of that guy's toes over on the other MK7. But first, we're going to shoot at this guy. With the optics, weight of fire, and armor piercing, 6 hits against 1 will take this guy out in 1 hit, preventing it from falling in to Chief's hands. Then he's going to spend this shoot die to fire at the other one before that loses control over to Chief. And with 5 to 1, the 2 lethal will finish off this MK7 as well, all on 1 turn. With Team Chief having no more unactivated Spartans, going to unpin the Hazop here, and using his flight, we're going to go 1 and then 2 right up into this cube, sitting himself right between 2 spawns. And the JFO is also going to unpin and then go 1, climb himself up that wall, and set himself back up there for control of that point. Now, end of round 3, another item drops down here, and the Spartan laser has dropped down in the base. As for the state of the board, Team Wargames has pretty firm control over this base area, which will give them easy access to 2 of these control points, and has the JFO sitting all by his lonesome over here. However, Chief is sitting on top of this tower, and with decent enough command dice rolls, will be able to dislodge the JFO and invade this base on his own. They're also going to hold on to the special order using Tactician and then re-roll the rest over here. And they're going to use 1 Tactician to hold on to this special order on their end and re-roll these 3 dice. And with the rolls and re-rolls, Team Chief has a ton of shoots, but not the movements they're hoping for. And there's the movements and the shoots that they need. Alright, top of round 4, the first order of business here. Master Chief using his special order. First, we're gonna use a shoot die to take that shot with the battle rifle. Well, rolling all this to a less than stellar absolutely nothing will mean that the JFO does get 1 shot, and that will be removed from the board, but that's not all. The Chief is going to turn around and use another shot, this time targeting the Gungnir. Now, the Gungnir has guarded and therefore is unaffected by headshots, meaning this is just a roll after weight of fire, and Chief's amazing range stat, 5-1, is going to deplete Gungnir's 2 energy shields here, but with the 3rd armor, thanks to this hard light shield, nothing else is going to go through. Therefore, Chief is going to take another shot, this time with rapid fire for Blaze Away. Now with 3-0, and I believe guarded still works against Blaze Away, Chief has successfully pinned the Gungnir, and now is going to sprint into range. 1, 2, 3, and with a pinned Gungnir, no longer able to use Snapshot, and is going to fight with that energy sword he's holding. With 4 hits to 1, the lethal from the energy sword is going to take out everything from this Gungnir. Hard light shield does disappear, and he disappears from the board. And with no more movement left, the Chief will end his turn. Now, Team Wargames is going to activate the Hazop, and using his flight, make this 2-move action with no trouble whatsoever, and then shoot at the Chief with his shotgun. 3-on-3, resulting in no further damage, but he will be knocked away, and let's see where that lands him. Now with a 4, that will knock him all the way down into the pit with his buddy. Now, having successfully dislodged him from the point, I'm going to use a shoot die in order to fire the Spartan laser at Chief and hopefully remove him entirely. Now, despite weight of fire and optics and the extra height, that is 3-4, resulting in no further damage to Chief. Now the final MK7 down here, going to stand up, and only has 1 more shoot action left, so is just going to take a shot at the JFO that's sitting on the point. Now with a 6-1, the only result of that is going to be losing all the energy shields for the JFO due to his 3 armor. Now on the War Games side, CQB is going to spawn at red, and then using the thrusters, go 1 more up here, and then attack with a lunge from the energy sword. Chief rolls much better than he needed to survive that lunge and takes absolutely no damage from that. Now for our last action, the JFO is going to move off the point over onto the focus rifle. Might as well pick it up while he's over here, but then take a shot with the concussion rifle, and he's going to fire at the cube containing the Chief and the MK7 over here. There are 2 ceilings that are open, and besides that, the threat sensor is going, making this shot possible. Now he does land the shot, and first blast will apply, so CQB will lose 1 energy shield there, but the Hazop is out of range. And with 5 hits for the concussion rifle, 1 save for the MK7, and 2 saves for the Chief. This will be a juicy one. And final results of everything there. 3 wounds, and pinned down on the MK7, who is thrown to cube 5, right on there. And all of that takes out the hard light shield from Chief, resulting in 1 wound to him. And with a 3 roll on his explosive, that brings him way back in there, where he's relatively protected from fire, but also very far away from the action. Now, end of the round results. Team Wargames does retain control of the board, but it will give them a little bit of time before they can turn over that control point. And Chief will easily be able to turn it around if they can roll some movement command dice to ensure that doesn't happen. But in the meantime, Wargames definitely has the upper hand. All right, top of round 6, there is a new item that spawned on this control point, and the needle rifle has spawned on that weapon pad down there. Everyone's shields has been replenished, and it is Team Chief that is taking the first turn with all these command die, all the movement they needed, and Team Wargames has this set of command die. So Chief moving first, spending the 1-man army special order, and he's going to sprint from there and go 1, 2, climb up there, 3, and jump into combat with the shotgun. Now the Hazop does spend the snapshot special order with the shotgun to try and push Chief out, but will lose that 2 to 3, and the assault continues. With 5 hits to 2, the ESD will rip through Hazop's remaining shields. The AP will take care of the armor, and Lethal will take care of the rest of his health. And with that, the Hazop is down and will lose the Quantum Translocator, and Chief is not going to take the Plasma Repeater. He does not care about it. Now, he doesn't have a clear shot due to those little barrels, but Chief is going to use one of the 2 shoot die to take the sniper rifle and try and take out the JFO. With 9 hits to 1, that is an unquestionable headshot, and the JFO is out. Certainly not a clear shot on the CQB, but he is going to spend a second shoot die to try and take out the CQB. With another 9 hits, this time a whopping 0, thanks to CQB's awful survive stat, he is also taken off the board. And he's not done there. He's going to spend all 4 of this movement die to go 1, pick up this item, which looks like AP ammo, 2, 3, 4, and assault the Gungnir. And the Gungnir will survive with a 2 to 2. Chief's luck finally runs out, still netting himself a triple kill in the first activation of round 6. Over on Team Wargames, the Hazop is going to spawn here, not taking the Plasma Repeater, but will move diagonally and grab this item here, which is Health Pack. Now on Team Chief, Spartan MK7 going to unpin and end up using this thruster in order to make the move from down here, come out through the window, 1 diagonally up here, 2, and 3, their first move onto that control point. And Team Wargames is not going to stand for that. The JFO is going to spawn here and then make its second move over onto this point, pick up this sticky grenade, and fire a concussion rifle at the MK7 who is sitting on the point here. Now with 1 hit to 2 on the survive, the MK7 will not take any damage, but will still be knocked off of the point due to the grenade. With a roll of 2, we're now pinned once again and fall off right into this cube where anyone can see you. There's no cover there. Now our healthy MK7 over here is going to drop down 1 diagonal here and 3 sprint onto this cube, picking up this item once again and setting himself right there, having picked up a grapple hook. Very neat. Now Team Wargames is going to spawn the CQB right here, use the thruster that he spawns with to move 1 more, and then use the movement die to contest the control point once again and fight the MK7 on the point. With 5 hits to 2, ESD2 will take out the shields, the AP will cut through the armor, 3 points will go to health, and the lethal will take out the Spartan MK7's remaining health, and he's going to get the grapple off of that kill and use that immediately to enter combat with Chief. Despite everything, the wounded Chief, the partner sitting in the same cube, and even spending that last dice of combat, CQB still only lands 3 hits to the Chief's 4. That being the result, the Gungnir is going to break away, get himself up here. With a 1-to-1, the Gungnir successfully breaks away without taking any damage and is going to turn around and shoot the Spartan laser straight back at the Chief with high ground and clear shot. Now, high ground, clear shot, optics, -1 for the friendly model. Gungnir still lands 7 hits to the Chief's 3, and with the lethal 2 on the Spartan laser, Chief will go down, dropping the armor-piercing ammo and the quantum translocator. And end of round overview. We have all of Team Wargames on the field, pretty heavily guarding this one point over here, with the MK7 chilling down there and pinned. Master Chief got a ton of kills, almost a quadra, and then Wargames came back swinging and defended everything. Now, top of the round, item spawn here, energy sword spawning there, and it is Team Chief that will make the first move. Team Chief is going to stand up this MK7, and he's going to make that same move. 1, 2, back onto the point. And the JFO is going to take the first activation for Team Wargames, shooting with a concussion rifle at the MK7 once again. With 4 hits to 2, the ESD takes out one of these energy shields. The other one is going to be taken out by a hit, and then the last hit's armor, but the MK7 will once again be knocked off the point. And with an 8, they are knocked off right there, and the JFO is going to complete their turn by moving 2 closer to this direction. Chief is running out of time here, and he is going to spawn and use one-man army once again. He's going to spawn in this cube, picking up the sniper rifle for himself once again. So that's first advance, and then he's going to advance to 3 up here using his grapple hook and use a short action shoot into this Gungnir with the lunge attack from the energy sword. With 4 hits to 3, the ESD-1 is going to deplete all of the Gungnir's energy shields. Now he will spend 1 movement die and plop himself down there for a nice assault. With 5 hits to 2, Gungnir is taken out of the game. And 1 more movement die. He's going to pop himself into an assault with the CQB. Now he only hits 3 to 1, but that will deplete the CQB's energy shields and give him 3 wounds, but the CQB will live. So, he's going to pop another assault. With 2 hits to none, the CQB's awful survive stat betrays him, and Chief will take him off the board as well. And Chief is then going to use one more movement die. After picking up the armor-piercing ammo, and get himself onto the control point. Now the Hazop is going to activate, use his flight to be able to sprint up here onto the point and secure himself a Spartan laser, which he will then use with a shoot die, and both of these extra dice against the Chief. Now earlier, the Gungnir was safe from the same angle. However, Chief is a little bit taller, so you can see his head from here. Now, despite everything, a 5 up in range does not help the situation, and Chief will live. Not only does he live while taking no damage, this is the end of an enemy model's activation, so this now returns to neutral. With only one left, the MK7 is going to spawn here, use its second move, get up here, pick up the energy sword, and then throw the grenade to dislodge the Hazop from the point. And the grenade throw is successful, and the Hazop rolls nothing on its survive, so this 3 will take out his energy shields. The blast will take out 1 from the thrower, and then he will be knocked off of the cube. Now a 6 puts him in this cube, but as it is a half floor, I've rolled that 4 below, dropped him down, and that is a 2, so that will drop him off of the point down here, and he will be pinned as well. Now that he is down here and pinned, the MK7 is going to spend that last movement die to enter into melee combat with the energy sword he just picked up against a pinned Hazop. Now with 2 to 1, 1 damage will go through, lethal 1 will turn that into 2, however, the med pack will come in and heal the Hazop back up to full. But they are still locked in combat, and the assault does result in the Hazop standing up. Now the Gungnir is going to spawn here, move diagonally for its second advance, pick up the quantum translocator, and fire its plasma launcher against the Chief to displace him from the point. And with 2 successful hits to the cube, that will deplete all of the Chief's energy shields. With only 3 hits to the Chief's 2, the hard light shield will give him way too much armor for this to actually do anything to him, but it will displace him from the cube. And a roll of 4 drops him down there, which is in prime spot for the CQB to spawn in and use his thrusters to start melee combat with Chief for some revenge. 3 hits to 2, the AP3 will slice through the hard light, removing that from Chief and dealing 2 damage with the lethal 1. Now the board state at the end of round 7, we have both MK7s in the base trying to protect one point and go after the other. JFO defending this over here, Hazop fighting for his life in the corner, and once again ganging up on the Chief over control of this now neutral control point. Still no points have been scored. Now a new item has been dropped in the same cube as the fighting energy sword users. The last plasma repeater has been placed on this pad, and Team Wargames is spending the extra model activation to steal a turn order. With that, we will roll command die. Well, the command die, Chief is pretty loaded with plenty of shoots and moves, and Team Wargames has an extra model, movement, special order, and a die. And with Wargames having first movement of the game, they will activate with the Hazop first. Now the Hazop is going to break away from this cube, trying to go up. And of course, he's going to get a little slice at him with the sword first. With some extremely good rolling, the MK7 is going to take out the Hazop with his back turned. Now Team Wargames is not going to take that lying down. Going to use this extra model activation, move the JFO, 1, 2, guarding this point, and he's also going to throw his sticky grenade at the MK7 in the corner. Now, with no successful hits, he will miss the cube, and it has scattered down here, and without blast, the sticky grenade will do nothing. Now, Team Chief gets their first move. This MK7 will stand himself up and then use rapid fire to try and pin the JFO on the point. With 4 hits to none, the blaze away is successful. So JFO will lose 1 energy shield and is now pinned against the cube. And from here, going to use a movement die to take this MK7 and join. No, he's not. He's not going to do that. What is going to happen is a new model activation, and this MK7 is going to sprint 1, 2, 3 onto this point and use the energy sword against this pinned JFO, try and kill him on the point. Both have spent the extra die, and both have rolled pretty well. But this does result in no wounds to the JFO, so he remains standing, guarding this point. And with that, it is no longer mathematically possible for anyone to score any points in the final round of this game of Total Control. It would take 2 model activations for Team Chief to take this point, but only if they are alone on the point, and the JFO is guarding it. So that won't be possible, because Chief would have to take out the JFO and then also move on to this control point, which he does not have the movement to do. Even if he popped the special order, he only has 2 movement die. He could attempt to come up here with the movement dice and then sprint back to the control point, but he would have to break away, and then the second one would cause an assault action, and that would prevent him from reaching the point, so he will not be able to do that. And on Team Wargames, there are no longer enough unactivated models on Chief's team. Even if they could reach this point, they would not be able to hold it long enough to control it. So with that, I'm going to call this a tie game. All right, so some closing thoughts. Total Control is very difficult, like most of the objective point-based ones. For anyone to win by objective score, it will usually go to time. It would be neat on maps, I think, where the points aren't on such high ground and easy to knock people off. So it depends a little bit on the map design. As for team building, I like the ability to customize my Spartans. Giving the go near the Spartan laser right off the bat is really good. I like being able to give the CQB some extra movement so that that 1 isn't so damning, especially right off of a respawn. And being able to juice off Master Chief like that is pretty good. Does depend a lot on the game mode that you're doing, however. This one, I felt the hard light shield was a little bit wasted. Wasn't necessarily useful. It was useful once, but I don't even think that one time it blocked extra damage. It was really necessary. It wasn't going to kill him. So probably unnecessary to spend all those points on Chief. But being able to give grenades to the MK7s to be able to drop people off of points made that really nice. Now, the mistake for the war game team, I think, was taking Snapshot. The idea was to be able to displace Chief and stop him from running in. In practice, he didn't actually do that unless they were pinned. And he also just didn't run into people if they had a weapon that would launch him away. So I think what would have been much better here would be to grab the return to sender special order instead, which would allow these guys to stay on the points without being knocked off by the grenades. As for the Wargames Fire team, I really like the Gungnir. He's really cool. Guarded and Stable and Tactician 1. The Tactician 1 just seems super unnecessary on top of the other two. Guarded is insane. Stable is insane, especially with the point cost ability to allow him to take a Spartan laser, giving him the threat sensor on top of all that. Whew. I don't believe that you are able to get clear shot off of that. I'm pretty sure it just allows you to draw a line of sight, because that would just be too good. Spartan laser is nuts. CQB, his survive stat is so bad. Even with the 3 armor and the 5 health, that is not enough. You do not want this guy on defense. JFO, it's really nice to start with an explosive weapon, especially on objective-based ones. His stats are fine. 5s across the board with 3 armor, not bad. Scout did forget to use it at the beginning, but he's another source of Tactician, so that's pretty good. The Hazop. Flight. It was useful on this map. It will be entirely based on how you build your map. If you have flat ones that only go up to level 1 and they're all just using the base terrain, you can climb those from basically any angle, so flight goes completely wasted. You don't need to jump gaps if it's only a 1 cube height, because you just drop down and then climb up again. So a little bit based on the map design, a little bit based on how generous you are interpreting the movement rules. For example, I would say flight would allow him to move from this cube directly over, even though there's a wall in the way, where other Spartans would have to go 1, then 2. Some of these climbing rules are a little ambiguous, so unless I was in a tournament with Mantic referees, I'm not super clear on the value of flight, but it is interesting. He is very low cost, and the shotgun's pretty neat. Unfortunately, with 5s across the board, he doesn't really have the best stats to make use of it. But overall, pretty cool. Somewhat exhausting to do, as these large objective-based ones can be, especially solo. But I enjoyed it, and it was pretty cool to use the new guys.